Hey guys, what's going on? This is GD O'Reilly or The Dark Room on Instagram, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the Canon EOS R5 and R6 launch, launch, and my thoughts on some of the lenses that come with it. So, Canon on Thursday announced the EOS R5 and R6 and 4 new lenses. Three telephotos, 2 of which are fixed telephotos, and one's a zoom telephoto, and then an 85mm macro. So I'm going to start with the cameras. So we'll start with the R5. It's been talked about a lot. It's got the Digic X from the 1DX Mark III, a 45 megapixel sensor, that 8K RAW and 4K 120 in 10-bit, or the so I'm just going to go down, whatever. I'm looking at the B&H page because we also have the Canon release. I guess we can go down either one. I think for photos, I think the R5 is the way to go. It looks to be the replacement for the 5D series, which makes sense. That's the way to go. Actually, here, I'm going to go back to the B&H because I think it's partially cut off. Yeah, I guess here's the photo. 45 megapixels, 1x1, 3x2, all your standards, JPEGs and RAW. You get a couple different codecs available for RAW. Nothing new here. Nothing really new here. A pretty high shutter speed. I think that's similar to the EOS R. You only get RAW 12-bit at 4K, which is an insane data rate. This eats up 512 gig memory cards, I want to say, in 20 minutes. Also has overheat issues. You can basically run through a 512 gig card, and then you got to cool the camera down. That's assuming at a typical ambient, which I think is somewhere, Canon said it's somewhere around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, cool, it's got 8K. I really don't think the 8K is going to matter. It's kind of a headline feature, but I doubt it's going to get much use. Just because of the data rate. So then we've got H.265 in 422 10-bit, both DCI and UHD for all those. And then it goes and then you get 4K 120. In both versions, and then you get full HD only though in 60, which is weird. I don't get why there isn't a 4K 240 option here. Kind of weird. And H.265 is in 422 10-bit, which is good to see. H.264 is 420 8-bit. External recording, this I think is going to be what quite a few people use, but not on the R5, on the R6. This DCI, or the 4K 422 10-bit at up to 60 frames a second. I think that's going to be used more. You get new versions of dual pixel autofocus, 1CF Express, which is insanely expensive for what it is, an SD card, USB-C microphone, whatever. New battery that's slightly bigger than the old LP E6N. And $3,900. This basically means that tax is $3,600. I think the much better buy for for video people is the R6. $2,500. It's $1,500 less. But go pick up an Atomos Ninja V. They're I think $500, $600 right now on B&H or wherever you want to buy stuff. Same Digic X at only a 20 megapixel processor. Internally, you get 4K 60, Full HD 120 at 10-bit. You get that 10-bit out. Not a great sensor resolution. I'm actually kind of disappointed in Canon for this. Their 90D and M6 Mark II are running 32 megapixel sensors. Even their older line, a lot of their older ones are running 24 megapixels. So I'm not quite sure why they did this. Same shutter settings. Video, you don't get DCI. The R6 gets a slightly worse internal codec I want to say it's all I instead of IPB, or maybe it's the other way around. Basically, Canon Europe said, hey, if you guys complain enough, we'll likely release as a firmware update, which basically means, yeah, we probably should have included this, just like the 24 frames per second issue on the M6 Mark II and 90D. So I expect that to come in, but really, this external recording, I think, is how most people should do it. You get the same quality or better because you can use ProRes, DNG, probably not ProRes RAW, through Ninja. I think Ninja, does Ninja, I gotta look. $600, yeah. 4K, 10-bit, yeah, you get, no, you don't get an XLR. I was gonna say, if you got an XLR, that would be really nice. You get DCI up to 60 UHD in, yeah, so basically you can record the max out of out of either one of these cameras on a Ninja 5, which to me is what I would do. I would save the $1,000 between the R5 and the $1,500, and then spend it on the Ninja. You can also get it bundled with the zoom lens. It's $300. $300 up, yeah, $300 or $400 up. It's not a bad lens, but it's just Canon keeps doing this, and I don't get why. The RF mat is supposed to be high end, but then they keep doing these weird things like, here's a f4 to 7.1 zoom. Why? And that's one of the other lenses they announced is that. I mean, I guess this is the budget option because it's a kit lens. It's available. No, it's not even available with the R5. The R5, you can only step up with the big f4 L series ones. Okay, so Canon site sucks for this again. So B&H, here we come. There. You got extenders now, 1.4 and 2. And then these I think are interesting. So we will order these up. So first up, you got a 100 to 500, f4.5 to 7.1 L series. The interesting thing is this collapses quite a bit. It's not a super big lens when it's collapsed, and then it extends out. I like that autofocus system. The dual nano should focus nice and quietly and very fast. Canon says this is really well weather sealed, but I don't know. I assume someone's gonna end up destroying one of these lenses, seeing how well weather sealed it is. Oh, and I guess that's the other issue between the R5 and the R6. The R5 has much better weather sealing, but we never get like a standard rating on it, so it's kind of hard to know unless someone decides to destroy it. You can use the teleconverters when you're on the tight end, not on the wide end. Okay. The 85mm macro, cool. Kind of like the all blacked out body. You can set it to only close focus, which is nice. You can only have it focus up close or focus when you're in macro, which is nice. It's f2. STM motor, so it's maybe not the best for autofocusing during video, but still should be good. Sorry, I may have been cropped out of frame there for a second. And then we come to these two interesting ones: a 600mm and an 800mm f11 prime. And these are fixed f11. These are not variable. There's no aperture in these, so these are f11 all day, every day. But they're cheap. They're $700 and $900. They are retractable. They extend out. Someone called them basically a spotting scope, and that's kind of what they seem to be. Canon took what is a spotting scope and kind of thing and turn it in. They both extend. I want to say the 600mm extended is as long as the 800mm non-extended, so they're not exactly compact lenses. You can use them with the speed boosters and they will hit f/22, so you can end up with a 1200 or 1600mm lens f/22. The R5 and R6 will autofocus at that, which is a little insane, but that's what you get when you get a mirrorless system. You can have that autofocus at very small apertures. So I think these are interesting for nature. I mean, you could actually have a decent nature setup. I guess if you went with the R5, if you're trying to do bird photography, you'd be in $4,000 plus 5. I don't know. You could be in $8,000 for a good bird photography setup if you wanted to go on Canon's RF mount system. That's fairly affordable. I assume Canon will replace, well, not replace, but will come out with proper f/5 lenses or whatever. But these are light. I'll say they're both under a kilogram. Yeah, a little over a kilogram. 1.2 kilograms or 2.7 pounds. I'm going to say you're a little bit, yeah, you were just under 1 kilogram. 82mm focus thread and 95. So the 600 is a fairly standard lens in terms of you should be able to find easy enough filters for it that aren't going to be like $200 for a polarizer. What else? The new battery. They released 2 different battery grips. We can pull them up here. They released your normal and another one. So this is your standard battery grip. Canon releases chunk of plastic, a couple buttons, a little bit of rubber, and $350. But hey, it's for either. I guess when you're looking at a $2,500, $4,000 camera, what's another $300? A lot of people will probably end up with this, but this is the interesting one for studio, and for some pros this will be interesting. It's got wireless connectivity and a 1 gig LAN port on it, so that you can transfer files over the network. It's got high-end 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi because the R5 and R6 only have 2.4 gigahertz. It's basically the same as the other thing with Wi-Fi and an Ethernet. Oh, that's interesting. I did not see this one. You can connect 10 of the. If you had 10 cameras connected with these, you could have them all shoot at once or something. So I guess you could do. Yeah, you can do multi-angles, I guess, with this for an extra $1,000. Or you can probably build a setup for cheaper using triggers. R5, R6. Oh, I forgot a big thing. Both these have image stabilization. Canon's first sensor image stabilization, which is supposed to give somewhere between 4 and 8 stops of stabilization, mattering on the lens combo, because it will work and talk with lenses that have image stabilization on them. So that should give you some very good stabilization. And so far off some of the demo videos we've seen, it's not like Fuji system where it fights you, which is good. So it looks like Canon has not done this as purely a photo, but also has looked and analyzed the video side, so we hopefully don't end up with things like on the Fujis where you got to make a pan and it shakes the image weirdly and stuff. I guess now we'll get into kind of some of my final thoughts on this. I've seen some people try and compare the R5 to a Red. I don't think that's going to happen. I think all the camera manufacturers are going to come back hard. I expect I expect Sony, Panasonic, and Blackmagic to come back hard on the video side of this. Fuji probably also will too. We'll see how Fuji does on their attempts. Really, a pair of interesting cameras with two interesting lenses. I think both the fixed telephotos are a very interesting lens compared to what we've seen previously. I expect a lot of EOS Rs are gonna come cheap, and I bet that's probably gonna price drop to $1,500 maybe. So you can get a decent budget Canon camera for 4K video for $1,500 plus probably another $200 on a EF mount adapter because most people don't have RF glass in RF glasses. Going to be more expensive than EF, and given you can find plenty of old EF glass that'll work just fine on these. Canon's adapters have been rock solid. As for if I think this will kill any cinema cameras, the only thing Canon's killing right now are their C100 and C100 Mark II and their C200/C200B. Not a surprise. Both those cameras have been in dire needs of upgrades. If you guys want to see what I want for a C100 Mark III, check that out. My thoughts still basically stand on that. Still don't think I necessarily need to see great 4K. Love just an amazing 2.5 or 2.8K. Hey, image stabilization. As for the C200, take the R6 sensor, stick it in there, and then give us whatever that sensor can do, because that sensor is what? That's like a 5K sensor. Yeah, I want to say that's like a 5K sensor. So give us pure 5K out of a C200 Mark II. Just don't get the recording options again, Canon. You did that on the C200 and it made it a weird buy. That's my thoughts on the R5 and the R6 launch, along with the lens launches. If you guys like this video, make sure to like it. The other button seems to work okay if you, for some reason, prefer that. And if you guys like this kind of content, get subscribed. I think next week we're going to come out with my favorite budget light recommendation under $150. It's a used light. No reason to go new. And then I got more video content in the pipeline, and those will be teased in the next episode. So catch you guys later. Bye-bye.